Patricia Estes, Charleston, South Carolina, with North Palm Church, and this is another episode of the podcast, The Grown Up Church. Today, we're going to be looking at a very, very important aspect that we need to have, and it's called fully present. There are a lot of distractions. We pride ourselves on being multitaskers. We are seeing so many statistics that come in of people trying to drive and text and the accidents that happen during those times. And we are finding ourselves where there's not one time that we sit and just do something. We're doing multiple things and we pat ourselves on the back and we say, yay, we're a multitasker. We can do many things at one time, except that it's robbing from our relationships. So I'm going to talk about today on this podcast the importance of being fully present in whatever we're doing, especially in our relationships and how to build them. I'd like to read a scripture. It's found in Colossians 3, verses 23 through 24, and I'm using the Amplified Bible for this. Whatever you do, whatever your task may be, work from the soul, that is, put in your very best effort, as something done for the Lord and not for men, knowing with all certainty that it is from the Lord, not from men, that you will receive the inheritance which is your greatest reward. It is the Lord Christ whom you actually serve. So as I have sat in restaurants, and I'm sure you've seen this, that there is actually a terrible disservice that's taking place around the tables. It's an atrocity that's taken place in restaurants all over the globe. But I'm talking about at your table, at your restaurant, with you and your relationships. There's something that's happening, and it's that there's something on the other end of our phone that is more important than those people sitting around that table. And that is terrible. Now, I'm not saying that there won't be moments we need to take a call or send a quick text and that we can't just say, see, you picked up your phone, you sent a text, it's terrible, you don't love me. I'm not saying let the pendulum swing all the way there. But we need to bring back into order that we are fully present with the people that are in the car with us, with the people that's sitting at the table with us, the people that we do life with. We must be fully present. So we're going to be talking about in this podcast on how to be 100% present in the moment. And that means that we need to relearn some relationship skills. Now, as you can tell, I am not this young generation, but one thing I've noticed is that communication is a big problem, us understanding one another. I'll tell my staff, I tell people that I'm coaching that just because I sent a text doesn't mean that I have communicated with another person. Let's think about that. Just because I sent a text does not mean I have communicated with the other person. And you and I have seen that people don't like to even make telephone calls. I just want to send a text. What is that? That's saying I put up a wall of protection that I don't want you in my space. I really don't want to hear your response. I really don't want to hear feedback from you. I just want to tell you what I want to tell you, and then I'm moving on. And this is a problem for us being the grown-up church. The grown-up church, we need to understand people. We need to understand communication. Jesus, the master teacher, the master communicator. We have to learn how it was that Jesus did it. How did he engage this variety of people that he called to him to be his disciples? How did he engage the crowd? How did he stop in the midst of the crowd and engage the woman with the issue of blood? How is it that this master communicator, our wonderful Savior, Jesus Christ, how did he engage? Because he was fully present in what he was doing at that moment. and he knew how to engage the people around him. And so there's certain things that we need to relearn. And the first thing we need to relearn is that I need to be a good steward and govern myself. If we're going to be the mature church, we need to start governing ourselves. How can we govern cities if we cannot even govern ourselves? So you need to understand that everything you do, everything you say, every choice you make is on you. It's not the devil. It's not because of God didn't come through with his promises. It's all on you. Because we make too many allowances for ourselves not to be governed correctly. It's because of this. So if you hadn't have said that, then I wouldn't have done this. We need to put all that aside and say, I govern myself. I am completely responsible for myself. So when I go to a restaurant, if you, and we've all, and I could give you many studies on how having the cell phone actually releases chemicals, things, everything that goes on, but we're not talking about all the reasons. We're going to say you need to be in control of you. So what does it take for you to be in control of you? Can you actually put your phone down and not touch it? Now, I remember the good old days and a little bit of time that I can call those the good old days at this moment when we didn't have those phones with us everywhere we went. They were connected to the wall, they were on a cord, and the only time we could take a call was when we were standing there right by that phone. And we did not live our lives standing by the phone. But if you could just picture in your mind what's happening is that people are living their lives standing by that phone. That's how people are living. And it's an addiction. It's like if somebody has lost their phone, have you ever seen someone that's lost their phone? Oh, it's an emotional response. It's an urgency. I don't know. Where did I leave my phone? I think I left it in the restaurant. And they're running in. I've got to go find it. I've got to go find it. Somebody's going to steal my phone. Because we have become so attached to these devices. Now, these devices are wonderful devices. They help us. They can add to our life. They can give us great insights. They can help us stay organized. But they can also control us and manipulate us and destroy relationships. So we have to learn to govern ourselves means to govern our devices. And, for my family, one time I bought this, it was called the cell phone jail. And yet everybody, we're putting our phones in the jail. Because what am I saying? I'm saying, guys, whatever's that you love. If you love listening to music, if you love doing video games, if you love playing online chess, if you love watching sports, whatever it is you love, I'm glad you love it. Unless it's perversion and pornography, then I don't love it. But whatever it is that you love that's healthy, love it, like it, put its time in, have a slot for it, enjoy it, but don't let it rob from the other parts of your life. And so, if you cannot leave your phone turned upside down so you're not constantly looking, for me, do you see this? For those of you that are not seeing, but you're hearing, I'm pointing to a regular watch. Why do I not have an Apple Watch? Because I have watched everybody when they're in meetings, when they're in church, when they're in prayer, when they are playing a game, when they're with their children, when they're with their spouses, when they're driving. Ding, they are looking at their wrists, looking at their wrists, looking at their wrists. They are being summoned. We teach our children, or we should, that they are not to come and disturb us when we're in the middle of a conversation. We'll say, no, you need to wait. Please say, excuse me. But we've allowed these devices to ding and ding and ding and ding and ding and ding us until they're interrupting our conversations. They're interrupting our most important conversation is our time with God. They're interrupting our primary relationships. They're interrupting our rehearsals. They're interrupting our workflow because we have this constant. And a lot of times it's like nothing. It's a nothing. But it took my attention off what I should be focused on that moment to look at my arm to see what is being told to me, what's so important. And so take off your devices, take off your Apple Watches, turn your phone upside down, and look at the people at your table. Those are the people that are going to cry with you. That Apple Watch is not going to cry with you. That phone's not going to cry with you. In a crisis, it's not even going to be there to help get you a drink of water. It's not going to walk with you in the valley or on the mountaintop. Your device is not your best friend. Your device is not your mentor. Now, like I said, there's some great things that we can use with our devices. But if we allow them to become robbers of our time, of our relationship, of our testimony, of our workflow, then we're not doing things unto the Lord. So if you can't control it, put them in the trunk of your car. If you tell me I'm worried it'll overheat, good. Let it overheat. Who cares? Leave it at home. Can you imagine that? I want to tell you, I am really going to ask you to do something. Leave all of your devices at home for 24 hours and not touch them. See how that feels. You're going to have anxiety in the beginning. It's going to get in your mind. People will tell me, I was trying to call you. Really? Well, great. My phone was in my purse and I was engaged in what I had planned to be engaged in, and I couldn't be contacted at that time. I'm not going to be controlled by this device. So start by seeing how well you can control yourself. Decide, I'm going to disable notifications. I am not going to be interrupted during this time because I'm on date night. And you know what date night means? I am prioritizing the person I'm with. So the whole world stops because I am prioritizing you. I'm going to have real conversations. I'm going to learn to listen. I'm going to engage. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to be fully present. The reason is that we can spend so much time with our family, but our family feels we've not spent the time with them is because we're not fully present. 1 hour fully present is better than 4 hours partially present. Distracted. Look the people in the eye, hear what they're saying, play blocks with the kids, go out for a walk, but be fully present. I just decree over you, grown-up church, that all of the tools that's in our toolbox, that's what they are. They're tools. They don't own us. We're not slaves to them, but we have mastered them as tools. And let's be fully present in all we do. And what do I hear God saying? Grow up.